Oh man. Oh man. Do y'all remember this place? Cause I sure remember this place. Welcome back to the garage, where this car lived for damn near 2 years before it saw the outside. Since I have the attention span of a goldfish, I have a list. What? And when everything on the list is done, we're gonna go back to the track and test everything. As brakes are kind of important, fixing this very bent brake master adapter was top priority. Brakes are just too strong for this V8 Roadster's part, I guess, as it was badly bent. A few minutes in the press was enough to bend it back straight, and then, to prevent it from bending again, I built a brake master brace that would also fit with my shock tower supports. Check out the difference in deflection. Alright, so I took all the turbo stuff off, and I have the manifold here. I was prepping to put the new EGT sensors in the bottom, and then I noticed, what? This is a cast stainless manifold, and it's very solidly cracked through like 3/4 of this flange. What? How? This is cast stainless. This is not some shitty welding job. This is a legitimate Artech cast manifold, and it's cracked. I'm gonna see if I can warranty that, because that sucks. I literally bought a cast manifold to avoid this issue of like the manifold cracking. That crack possibly may have been caused or influenced by how my wastegate was set up. Thinking that maybe the way I have the wastegate plumbed directly back into the exhaust might have caused something, because it all kind of braces itself. I don't know. Anyway, decided not going to do that, not going to take the risk on that. So now we have a screamer pipe. So I sealed up where the wastegate was entering initially, and now it's just gonna dump out the hood like that. And that way there's no chance whatsoever that anything in this area is under stress, like literally 0% chance. If you're wondering what all this red stuff here on the screamer pipe is, it's just brake grease. And then I put the hood on it, and you can see exactly where I'm gonna have to cut out the hood for that to exit. So that's a handy little tip if you ever need to drill through something and access something else, and you don't wanna have to drill like 18 pilot holes. Just get like some brake grease or some toothpaste or anything that's a little bit sticky and tacky. Just plop it on, put your part on top, pull it off, you have your marks. So now I just need to finish welding this, and now that I have the marks for that, I need to pop a hole in the hood. I'm still waiting to hear back whether they're going to warranty this manifold. I'm going to be pretty disappointed if they don't. So just one of those things that's, you know, not on the list, wasn't planning to do it, wasn't allotting the time to do it, but you gotta do it, because not going anywhere with a cracked manifold. I don't even know how the car was running that good if the manifold was cracked that bad. Great news. Just got off the phone with Artech. Gotta say, their customer support is absolutely phenomenal, hands down. This manifold is going to get warranted. They agreed. This should not have cracked. But until I can get a replacement, they have fully authorized me to weld it, brace it, do whatever I need to do, make this functional. They'll get me a replacement. So, big thumbs up to Artech. It's frankly amazing they're standing behind this that well. Not every performance company I've dealt with would do the same, which is a little bit sad. But till they can get me a new one, I need to weld this, which means less talking, more welding. So far this engine and turbo setup has been fantastic. I know it's only had like 3 events on it, so maybe it's a little bit too soon to call it like super reliable. But one issue it does kind of have, EGTs for sure are pretty high. A lot of people would call this like a small setup kind of for what I'm doing. This is a EFR 7670. I'm not tracking exhaust manifold pressure. I'm sure it's getting up there. EGTs for sure definitely get pretty hot at higher boost levels. Once I start pushing past like 25, 26 pounds, it wants to go past like 1700 degrees Fahrenheit pretty quick. If you know anything about motors, once you get past like 1600, 1650, like the lifespan of stuff like really decreases. I think the maximum the turbo is rated for is like 1800, but you don't really want to get that high. I killed the last motor setup because I got the thing up to like 1800 degrees and kept it there for like 10 or 12 seconds during a 4th, 5th gear, 6th gear pull, and everything just melted. Anyway, this motor and this turbo are all really expensive, so I would like to not melt them. So one thing I'm going to try to help knock EGTs down is water/meth injection. Here in the rear next to the fire bottle, I've installed this, I think it's a 2-gallon water/meth tank. And that's gonna run all the way down here to that bad boy, which is a meth injection pump. And then I have a 4AN line going down all the way to the front of the car to this little 4AN line right here, which currently I have capped for pressure testing. But then I have an injection nozzle right here into the intake. The way I'm going to set this up is I can hop in the ECU, and I'm just going to have this general output, which is a switch to ground, and it's literally just going to run a relay. Relay kicks on, pump kicks on, super simple. So I'm going to have to probably mess around with the pump pressure and the nozzle size to get the amount of cooling that I want to bring the intake or bring the EGT temps down. And honestly, I don't even know if this will work. I'm kind of hoping it'll work. It should work. That's it. I was expecting to more like, I don't know, kind of like atomize. Maybe I just need to turn the pump pressure up a whole bunch. I was expecting it to like kind of like atomize and mist. And that was just kind of like dribbling. I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to have to play around and experiment with all this. I don't know what I'm doing with this. So I think I just got completely screwed over by USPS. From the research that I've done, if you have a water methanol system, you're supposed to have a solenoid in between the water tank and the intake. This is so the reservoir doesn't gravity feed into the intake, or when the motor's in vacuum, it doesn't just suck all the water through the pump. So I ordered a solenoid, and USPS physically lost it. They didn't lose the package. They delivered me an empty package with a little note that said basically, sorry, we lost your shit. We'll try and do better next time. Motherfucker. So this sucks. A big part of the test day at Road Atlanta tomorrow was going to be testing this water methanol system. And now I cannot run the water methanol system. So, thanks USPS. I really appreciate it. Despite the shipping setback, I took the car out to run some errands to make sure everything felt fine, and then loaded up and headed to the track, determined to have some fun at the track that has broken my car the last 2 times I was there. I gave some ride-alongs, bullied some other cars, threw the keys to some trusted friends to let them experience a fast Miata.
It's actually not bad. This thing is so fucking loud, it's overwhelming, and I have no idea what the fuck's going on. The boost feels quite manageable. It does Miata things, it's quite nimble where you need it to be. Yeah, you know, nothing crazy, just like it's really nimble and like a lot more predictable than I was expecting.
Everything was fine until the car caught fire. came from, but I don't really know why. It was definitely from this area, but I don't see anything on fire, or that was obviously on fire, so I don't know. No, like the hood vent like comes right here. Yeah, I could see the fire was in there. Like I said, the first time I thought, I was like, oh, it's just from the screamer pipe, because I just saw like the flash. But then like the second time I saw it, it was like, no, it's from like this area. But, I don't know. It's not like it's ever caught on fire before, so nothing's changed. Unable to find the source of the fireballs, I said fuck it and took it out again for more diagnosis. Instead, the car shut off on me mid-lap. It's really hot out here. Going good, just kind of having fun, doing shakedown, testing on the car. But died on me in 10A, just coasted it here. Found that all those crank wires right there underneath that blue connector have all melted, and it's not reading RPM signal or cranking over. Not biggest of deals. I know I've kind of skimped on heat shielding for this whole side of the engine bay, so definitely something I need to address. Really just amplified by how miserably fucking hot it is today. It's hot. Blew a coolant line earlier, so I forgot to put heat shielding on it. So it lasted about 3 laps, that melted, but that wasn't that big a deal. But yeah, apparently I need to heat shield all that wiring down there. Not the bigger problem. Once I'm back in the garage, not too hard to fix, and I can winch onto the trailer. But and once back in the garage, I realized the local fireballing had done much more damage than I first realized. Not only had the turbo blanket completely turned into ash, but all of the wiring in proximity to the turbo had completely melted down, which explains why so many of my sensors had errored out. It did take some serious brain rubbing to try and figure out just why everything had combusted in the first place, though. Taking a closer look at it, there's all the welding that I did. It's not cracked. Everything here looks fine. But if you come over here and look at the actual turbine manifold, there's like some separation on the outside, but nothing on the inside. There's no cracking here. Alright, I think I know what happened here and how this cracked and why it's now warped. What I think happened is that there's this little sealing washer that goes in between the flange and the turbo. And I think when I put this on, and then I put the whole turbo on, I think that this washer got just knocked out of alignment just a little bit, and was actually kind of like that, almost in between the flange of the manifold and the turbo. Because you can see here all the nice and shiny bits where it got caught. And then of course the V-band goes here and clamps everything, and I couldn't really see. And then you get a few heat cycles in this, the V-band loosened up a little bit, and basically there was a good sized exhaust leak here, is what I think happened. So I think that's why there was so much more extra heat in this area. I just kind of figured because it was hot as fuck out. And that's probably part of the reason that all the crank wire over here melted, and then this whole mess happened, and then why this flange warped and cracked like that. So I think this housing's not usable for the time. That's on me. I think I fucked up the assembly of this, kind of doing it last minute. I think I was doing it like late Saturday evening, trying to get this thing to run for that event on Sunday. Kind of fucked that up a little bit. It is what it is. It's on me. Can't blame anyone else. Just next time, do better. But I think that's enough time spent on analyzing and kind of sulking over this broken wiring. Time to actually get back in there, fix all the wiring, fix all the stuff that broke, weld it all back, and get this thing operational again. Yeah, this is all gonna have to be like properly like heat wrapped with like fire sleeve in the future. Obviously these EGT sensors all need fire sleeve and some kind of protection. And then the crank sensor wiring
Yeah, that all got melted, so that's all gonna need sleeved as well.
So basically, everything in this side of the engine bay needs to be like actual fire sleeve wrapped. I mean, like everything. These coolant lines are gonna get AN lines anyway, proper PTFE, so they're not rubber. But yeah, everything on this side gets really hot and needs to be protected because it just, this side of the engine just bakes, man. It gets so hot over here. So I know a lot of people are gonna say that this screamer pipe cracked because the welding is not like professional, amazing quality. It's just like okay quality. And also the welds weren't back purged. And all of that is 100% correct. But I just want to point out that especially on this side, the actual stainless itself cracked. So you can see like over here, yeah, there's some cracking at the weld, but that crack goes through the weld. That one follows the weld a little bit. But then over here, it's the actual stainless that has cracked. So I think really the key thing to take away here is that it just needs some additional bracing, both on the inside and outside of this curve. Because anything with any sort of like lever arm and then mounted to a K-series is just gonna, earthquake and vibrate around and, add in all those weird K-series harmonics. Basically, this just needs to be built better. But now I know, and let's fix it. That disgusting chunk of melted wiring was completely pruned away and new wiring spliced in. The same goes to the melted crank sensor wiring, which immediately received fire sleeve to protect it and prevent this from happening in the future. And, as promised, all wiring in proximity of the turbo got fire sleeve, as well as the EGT sensors that began cooked and replaced at a, frankly, alarming rate. Before I go to all effort putting the turbo stuff back on, I'm gonna fire this up, just briefly make sure all the wiring's fine. So let's find out what a completely open header K24 sounds like. So fucking loud. Dear God. Now that was loud. Jesus. Anyway, runs again. Not that I doubt it would. Alright, and time to sort those turbo coolant lines out. They need to be AN PTFE line, not rubber lines, because even with some heat shielding, those rubber/silicone lines melt over time. So I need to do some welding to adapt a few of the fittings from barb to AN, one on the block, one on my lower coolant pipe, and then I bought some AN adapters to thread directly into the turbo. So after that, it should just be a matter of banging out a few short AN lines, fire sleeving those of course, and hopefully the era of melting turbo lines should be over for me. For the screamer pipe, I re-welded the cracks and then added these reinforcement ribs to help strengthen it. Threw the reinforced screamer pipe back on. I have fire sleeve on all the wastegate lines. There's fire sleeve on the EGT lines back there. The turbo has AN coolant lines and they have fire sleeve on them. All this wiring in here is fire sleeved. So I think this thing is back to being fully operational and should be good to rock and roll now. Man, this feels pretty good. The car's done and I have like a week and a half till my next event. Usually I'm throwing this thing here like the day before. So a week and a half, that's... Package delivery notification. What do I not have? Oh, I think I remember what this is. Yep. Hey, look, it's the replacement solenoid for the one that USPS lost. Which means I still need to work on the water mess system. Fuck!